Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Xbox, but maybe not in the way you are expecting me to. In short, I don't want to spend the first 5 minutes of this video recapping news that you've already digested from somewhere else, right? I think if you've found your way here, you're probably really familiar with the situation at Microsoft and Xbox this week in July 2025. On the very, very slim chance that you're not, the short version of it is that there's been something like 9,000 plus layoffs, and the result of that is over in the Xbox division, studios have closed, games have been canceled, and talented people have found their way out of jobs. So there you go. There's your ultra short recap. But I guess I just kind of wanted to get on here and talk, and really I think the message here for me is that I miss podcasting, because I used to do a podcast with my friend Nick years ago. We haven't done the show in a long time now, but we started a show back in 2008, and we talked about video games and the industry and what we were playing, what we were looking forward to, things going on, all around the industry. And it just kind of hit me today. The events today are exactly the kind of thing that we would have sat and talked about on our podcast. And, I don't have the podcast anymore, so I do have this YouTube channel, and I guess I just thought that I might come on here and kind of talk about it a little bit. And there's a lot of angry people out there. I've heard some takes today, and understandably, people don't like hearing about mass layoffs and stuff. Times are getting harder, budgets are getting tighter in households, right? And I saw a study that showed that young people in the States were spending less on video games this year, right? So I don't know, it's not it's not a great time for a lot of different reasons at the moment. And I think it was AJ Minotti said this on Blue Sky earlier today. Video gaming is one of those things that we use as an escape from the troubling and concerning headlines and stuff that are out there. Every day something terrible is happening somewhere, and so video games are kind of like a nice break from that. And now your video games are becoming part of those headlines, right? It's happening all the time. You're seeing all these kinds of layoffs and stuff, and it doesn't feel good, It feels bad. And I came to this kind of realization about Xbox as a brand, and I guess this goes back to some of the stuff earlier this year, right, or even last year, talking about going multi-platform. But I guess really it was really recently when they were talking about the ROG Ally handheld device that's going to come out with the Xbox branding on it, and then more recently the Meta VR headset that's going to have the Xbox branding on it. Neither of those products being made by Xbox, just being products that will have the Xbox brand on them, right? And I think that, and then like today being kind of the exclamation point on this thought, me realizing here that Xbox is becoming a nostalgia brand for me, sort of like Atari, right? Now, I know Atari did the Atari 50 collection recently, which was very beloved, and they are making more moves these days, I guess we could say, that somewhat resemble a serious video game company. But for the most part, Atari is, it's that hoodie at Hot Topic in the mall with like a picture of a joystick on it that says like Roots or something underneath it. It is that. It is the holographic sticker that you see on the bottom of some kid's skateboard or whatever. It is a nostalgia brand, and I think Xbox is heading that way. Now, I know that I'm saying that as I'm literally talking over Forza Horizon 5 footage here, so clearly they are putting out huge games, right? They still They own Minecraft. They own everything, Activision and Blizzard, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, all of that shit. That is all Xbox. And that is, I mean, they are literally the biggest game publisher on the planet, Xbox, right? Just by, way of owning so much of what they own. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, right? They could keep going like this for a long time and just ride the wave of success that they'll see from some of those big franchises just kind of carrying the brand through existence, right? But really, effectively, Xbox, as I came to know it, is dead and gone. Now, when I say the way that I came to know it, I'm talking about OG Xbox console in 2001. I bought one of those because EGM, or Electronic Gaming Monthly, which is gaming magazine that you'd get on store shelves if you're a kid. You weren't around at the time for it. They had given Halo 4 10 out of 10 scores and said that, hey, this is the next big thing in gaming. And I trusted them on that. I bought an Xbox and Halo that November when that stuff came out. And they were right. Halo was fucking incredible, right? Halo was a revelation in console gaming, and they would go on to ride the success of Halo, for years to come, right? Halo 2 was massive. Halo 3 was like a huge pop culture event here in the States, and I think actually worldwide, but definitely more in the States here, as Xbox's success was largely rooted here in the States. But yeah, I was around for all that. I was around for Xbox Live's launch on the OG console. Before that, I had played games online with the Dreamcast, but that was over a dial-up connection. So Xbox Live was the first broadband connection gaming that I would experience, and I really liked playing Quake 3 on my Dreamcast and everything, but Halo 2 and even before Halo 2, Rainbow Six 3 on the OG Xbox and the Splinter Cell games on the OG Xbox, those were revolutionary to someone like me who didn't have a cutting-edge PC and hadn't been playing Rainbow Six and all that stuff on that platform. So it was like we would get what the PC world was getting, but in console form, and it was awesome. And you would have Rainbow Six 3, I think, came out on like PlayStation 2 and even on GameCube, just for example, right? But it didn't have online on those platforms. Not the way that it did on Xbox Live. I think it was completely offline for GameCube. They didn't have any infrastructure for online back then. Nintendo was like in the Stone Age in those days. And I don't remember exactly what PlayStation 2 had, but it was not like Xbox Live. It wasn't this thing where you had, your handle that was applicable across all games, right? Your friends list and all of that stuff. I mean, it was groundbreaking at the time. And the podcast that I mentioned that I kind of miss doing sometimes, that came to be because of Xbox. Nick and I met over Xbox Live, and in fact, our friends group that is still in a Discord together. We've some of us have known each other for over 20 years now. The Discord ought to be titled "Powered by Xbox" because most of us met through Xbox Live, and then we met other people in our group through other platforms and stuff later. But like really, Xbox Live was the start of our main friends group. So yeah, it's just I look back, I guess, now at those days, and when Xbox was just like on fire. It was like the place to play games. Like if you weren't playing Halo 2 and Halo 3, like you were fucking missing out, man. That was like the hot shit, and it was dominating at the time. It really felt like just the cutting edge. It was like the best. just unlike anything else out there in the competition, and really, really, really groundbreaking and awesome. And looking at it now and seeing where they're at, and realizing that, like, I don't know, I don't think they're going to do another console release. They said that they were going to put out like the most powerful leap in console hardware ever, or something like that. I think they said that like over a year ago at this point now. Or maybe it was, I don't know, it was last year at some point. Don't hold me to that, okay? But now, in light of everything happening, I mean, I don't expect them to make good on that promise anymore. I don't think they're going to put out another console. They say they will, and I guess, you know, Game Pass needs a vessel to continue going so that they can keep getting Game Pass money. So I guess in that sense, it makes sense to put out a console, but like Game Pass isn't growing. It's got like 35 million subscribers, and I think it's been around that number for a while now, and they were kind of hoping to be like maybe double that by now, or even triple. I think I heard someone say they were hoping for like 100 million or something at some point, and it was just like such a, you know, out of reach number for them to possibly hit based on where they're at, right? So anyway, yeah, I mean, 35 million is not nothing. You could make a console that caters to those people and says, hey, buy me, I will keep this thing alive that you are enjoying. You know, I will be a new way for you to you know, enjoy experiencing this service. So I guess that makes sense. But I don't know, you know, you look at the market, you look at how much things cost, you look at how times are getting tough, budgets are getting tighter, people are spending less on games, and the series consoles literally just had a price increase. And so, you know, this is really, really, really out of the norm. We always see the previous console generation get a price drop, and then you know, when the new one comes out, basically, or maybe right before it, and then that's how the new generation kind of fits into place and takes the price point of the old generation. And now they've literally gone up in price. The Xbox Series X, I think the 2 terabyte edition now costs more than a PS5 Pro, and the Series S, which people were buying on sale for I think as low as $250 in recent like Black Friday sales and stuff like that. Now that thing I think is up at like $380 or almost $400, something like that, right? So I just don't know how you launch a new piece of hardware that will be expensive. I don't know how you launch that in this environment. I don't think it makes a lot of sense, and so I'm not really expecting them to do much, at least not anytime soon. Unless they're just gonna, I mean, you would have to just go for it and say, all right, screw it, we'll put out $1,000 console and nobody's gonna buy that shit, but we'll be able to say that we've got it out there and it's available and it's the most powerful thing. But again, I would ask to what end, really? You know, I just don't know. I don't think you're gonna win people over from PlayStation. I don't think you're gonna. I don't. With all of the bad optics and you know, cancellations of like Perfect Dark. They just canceled Perfect Dark. That was like their big quadruple A, somebody had said, their quadruple A title. I mean, that's exactly the kind of thing you need to lure somebody in to buy a next gen console. So yeah, I don't see it, I guess, in short. I don't want to spend too much time focused on that here, but yeah, they'll be around. You know, they'll be putting out Call of Duty and Minecraft, and you know, we've got this Gears coming in August, and maybe E-Day, if E-Day survives everything happening this week and doesn't get canceled. Right? You probably see another Halo at some point. But really, the Xbox that was like scrappy, the Xbox that was innovative, and you know, the Xbox that kind of ruled the world for that period of time is gone. And I think you'll see the Xbox branded hoodie at your local Hot Topic. That's probably already happened, honestly, but like, you get my meaning, right? You know, you'll see something that plays on nostalgia a little bit, and it'll be like Xbox branded, and you'll be like, oh yeah, man, I remember when Xbox was awesome. Now they're just Microsoft, you know. It's sad. It bums me out, you know. Things change. Game industry is, I mean, this kind of stuff is nothing new, right? EA has been fumbling the bag with stuff for ages. They practically wrote the book on it at this point, you know. They made something amazing like the Dead Space remake and then didn't follow it up with remakes of Dead Space 2 and 3. Like, you can't get behind that 10 out of 10 game. Okay, EA, alright. I mean, yeah, so anyway. Again, I digress. I just think it's sad. I just think it's a real bummer. And I don't think Sony's immune from this kind of stuff either. I'm worried about Sony, frankly. We'll see. You know, they're on top of the world right now with PlayStation 5 and all that. But, you know, they just bet real big on live service games, and then they had to cancel all of that shit because I guess they weren't looking too hot, and they were kind of realizing, like, oh man, you know, maybe we need to stick with what we're good at. But that's just going to lead to them making more, you know, cinematic story driven games, and those are all going to have to hit if they keep putting the budget behind them that they've been putting behind all of their games that they, you know, their Spider-Mans, their Last of Us, etc. And sooner or later one of those is going to miss, and so who knows what happens then. But anyway, yeah, thanks for hanging out, listening. I'm sad about Xbox. It bums me out. Pour one out, man. End of an era. Alright, thanks. Catch you next time.